All right, guys. So welcome back to sessions. Welcome back to Quadpod Session 2 podcast. I'm joined again with my boys, Jadon, Farmlifefpv.
What's up?
I've got my boy Ryan, Syntheticfpv here. What's up, man?
Lucky and you, bro.
Oh, no, can't complain. I've got Brent. Brent, you want to give yourself a little bit of an introduction there?
Yeah, what's up, dudes? Thanks. And shout for the invites. This is awesome. Name's Brent. I don't really have a handle yet, I guess. It's usually Mean FPV, but yeah, I'm going by Gcodefpv at the moment, so obviously called out frames and shit there. But yeah, that's me. Otherwise, most people know me as Mean.
So we're kicking off session 2 with just some more discussions and just about more FPV things and just what's been going on in the community. What you guys been up to?
Okay, so the past weekend I was at the Friday Drone League 03 race in Joburg.
Okay. How did that go, man?
It was really cool, really awesome event. It was at the Purple Cow restaurant in the Midstream Estate, and the event ended up going really well. We had a live stream up, which was a bit laggy and had a few issues, but the live stream ended up working. We had some live commentating, super nice to have.
That's amazing.
And then the finals ended up being me and Devin fighting it out hardcore, and then I ended up crashing, so I ended up third. Devin was first, it was then Chris, then me in third, and then David Jones in fourth.
Sure, so
Okay.
Chris is
dude.
actually picking up his speeds a bit there, huh?
Yeah, he is.
That's amazing. The guys put on a good show with the Friday FPV racing event.
Oh, were you also there?
I was at the previous one, set fire to my race squad.
Oh no.
But dude, I've been to the. I think watching the races. I'm not much of a racer.
The guys destroy their quads in racing. I've seen some heavy things in racing before.
Wesley totaled his quad at FDL. He crashed and picked it up and he brought it back. He broke.
Ooh.
I think he broke 2 motors, 2 or 3 arms, and he ripped one of the motors off the ESC.
I saw the picture. It was posted to the FDL WhatsApp group, yeah?
Yes, it was.
Oh, yeah.
And Jadon, you said that there was live streaming.
Yes, there was.
For future events, where can the guys find these links, or where can they? Because I went I never saw any links on Facebook or anything to watch the live stream.
That's funny though, because it was a Facebook live stream, but next stream they play it to YouTube as well.
Okay, I think maybe just must just try and post it on the pages. I don't know. Did you guys see anything on Facebook with regards to live stream?
I would have missed it if I wasn't part of the FDL Facebook group.
Okay.
That's the only way you got a notification, and as well as only the WhatsApp sends a link on the WhatsApp groups as well.
I did see Slow Joe did. He was doing the commentary, and he was doing flying and commentating.
Yeah,
I believe it was quite a ball,
cool. Yeah, it was a pretty cool idea.
It's quite a smart idea, I must say. That's something that we must actually do here in Cape Town. Let's actually do the commentary, because there's literally no one that commentates. But then again, we don't have
a lack of vibe to the racing. It really does.
It does. Even for spectators, it gets everyone involved.
Yeah, no, definitely. How boring would it be to watch a rugby game without any commentary?
No, the commentators can sometimes make the game.
Yeah.
So, and Ryan, what were you up to this weekend, man?
Oh, well, we hit some bando. Well, one bando was an abandoned grain silo from back many moons ago, and it was actually quite fun. I had, touch wood, I only had one crash.
So whereabout was this bando?
It was in Bethel, Mpumalanga. situated about maybe an hour and 40 drive from central Johannesburg.
Okay. I know Middleburg from Mpumalanga. I know.
Yeah, it's about 70, 60 k's away from me. But what I can tell you is always walk a bando through before you try and rip it.
Yeah, dude, you
must always scout.
Bro, I knocked a hanging piece of wire, right? And just the hanging piece of wire almost totaled my quad. I actually had my VTX totally eject. Luckily, no soldered wires on. It was only a JST plugged in. And I was lucky.
You can be very lucky. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, my weekend was also pretty interesting. We had some high winds here in Cape Town over the weekend, and we also just went for a casual hike. Went to go do some mountain diving. Yeah, look, don't go do mountain diving in high winds. It can be very intense.
Generally, anything high up with mountains in high winds is a bad idea.
I mean, we were having so many problems just at the bando just because of wind. Like, you do a split S, and when you look at the gap that you actually want to hit, you actually like 10 meters to the left. It was insane.
No, it is madness. It is madness. I cannot explain it, but it was a good experience overall. I know what my drone is also capable of handling as well. But she came back safe and sound.
Always good.
That was my weekend. Otherwise, nothing too crazy. I actually got to, I don't know if you guys know these new micro drones that's actually been released, the toothpicks.
Oh yes.
Man.
It's actually got to. Well, I didn't personally get to fly it, but I saw Timmy FPV, his toothpick, he ripped it. Also there, just casually on the side of a hill. Those drones are absolutely madness, I must say. Jeez, the thing was keeping up in high winds and everything, and I mean that guy was ripping at least for 5 to 6 minutes on old school batteries. So those things are crazy.
Amazing, it's definitely
it is pretty cool tech.
One of the
when I went to go fetch Mark at the airport for nationals, he showed me his version of the toothpick.
I've actually flown Mark. His is sick.
Is it?
He introduced his to us all. So
he said to me, I must fly it, and the whole weekend I totally forgot to fly it. We were so busy on fixing quads and trying to get into the race feel of things. Totally forgot to fly it, unfortunately.
Dude, that thing is crazy, bro. Those things are a hell of a lot of fun.
I want to say, guys, definitely a new evolution in frame design is these super light quads. Obviously, guys taking all these new rules and shits, FAA rules and that kind of crap.
It's the fact of it being such a small drone that you can just slap in your bag. Just look, I mean, the only big factor in this now is your remote. I mean, if you've got a pair of Fat Sharks, you don't need to stress about the box goggle, and you can literally go anywhere. I mean, you can go into the middle of town and find a small little park and use these things to rip. And I mean, I've seen guys literally crash these things into people's faces and nothing's happened. Literally at full speed and nothing's happened. The oaks literally shake it off, they laugh, and they carry on.
And it's the Gcode first prototype. It's made out of wood.
Literally. What did he call it? I think he called it the Toothless or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what he called it, but he still ripped it
alongside. I think it was.
He ripped it alongside the coast still, amongst a group of people. And I mean, he was still using brushed motors then.
Yeah, people didn't even know that thing was there, bro. It's amazing.
Yes, no, and I mean but the FPV camera that he used on there, the fisheye lens was crazy though.
Yeah, so you can see backwards.
Yeah, I mean, literally could see almost 360, mate. It was crazy. But I mean, that's pretty much the weekend under the belt. So one thing I'd actually like to bring up, guys, is Brent. Thank you for joining us on this podcast, man. I believe you've got a frame that you are releasing. Do you want to tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, slowly getting there. But yeah, dude, thanks for the opportunity. I literally listened to the first podcast this evening, and I got hold of Ryan and said, "This is freaking amazing." So I think you guys are doing something great here. Just stick it out. So.
Cool, man. Cool. Thanks.
I think it's excellent.
Appreciate the support.
Yeah, shit, dude.
Yeah, man.
The more exposure we can give our hobby or our sport, whatever you want to call it, so I think the better.
Yeah, no, most definitely, Bruce. So, regarding your frame, can you explain to us basically in detail what sort of frame it is? What was your idea when designing the frame? What were you looking at? Were you looking at an easy build for a beginner? Is it basically a beginner frame? Is it more intermediate?
Yeah.
Just the whole rundown on the whole thing.
Yeah, sure, man. It's I'll tell you how long. It's been about a year or so in development and prototyping and 3D printing and all that stuff. So yeah, I can try and condense a year into into a small conversation. Yeah, it's quite a process, I'll tell you that much. But just the way it all started, I think it was just some of the frustrations of being a beginner in FPV, breaking components and stuffing stuff up and breaking carbon and waiting for parts, all that kind of stuff. It kind of inspired me like straight away to have a look at it with a fresh look and see what we can actually do to, I don't know, make a frame that's robust, it's easy to build, looks after your components, that kind of stuff. I'm a product designer as a background, so I look at design problems and try and give them solutions.
Yeah,
I think that was sort of that's kind of where it all started. I got lang frustrated. I was like, screw this. Need a frame that's gonna stand up to pretty much anything. So yeah, that's kind of where it began.
Okay.
Very interesting. Huh. How long have you been in the industry for, if you don't mind me asking?
Sure. I think we all started when we saw the Star Wars footage. Guys flying. I think I wouldn't say that's where the bug bit me, but that's where my interest definitely picked up in FPV. And that was quite a while ago now. What are we looking at these days? Was that about 5 years ago?
Like the Sharpoo days.
Yeah.
Sharpoo days.
That
I
man
can say,
is
I think
a
everybody was
legend.
into it, dude.
His name
will
will
be
be flying. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
His name will be carried out through the history of FPV, man.
Yeah.
FPV museum when it is around one day, yeah.
Okay, but yeah, I mean that's pretty cool. And I mean Gcode, it's a local frame that's being brought out, which is also quite a cool thing. I mean the guys can get a hold of you. Have you guys got a website or anything that?
Yeah, man, we're busy on all that marketing stuff and whatever. Like, I mean, obviously this kind of thing you sort of do in your spare time. It's got to pay the bills and stuff. Yeah, making
definitely.
FPV in general is a difficult thing. Making money out of FPV just locally, it's even harder. So yeah, it's starting off, trying to start it off small and just slowly grow it to make sure it's here in SA first and the community's using it. So I think it's important. And yeah, the frame's the Gcode FS1, call it FS1, it's the Freestyle 1. Busy on an RS1 as well. That's sort of some inside info. Obviously,
nice.
That's a race frame as well.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Okay, sweet.
That's exactly what I wanted to ask you. Is are you going to be mainly freestyle dedicated or actually moving?
No, definitely not, man. We're busy designing a fishing drone as well. Obviously not under the Gcode brand. It's just between a buddy and I. Because the fishing drones are quite simple and quite basic. You can actually put a pretty sweet design together quite easily. But yeah, we're not talking about fishing.
Yeah, well, drones are drones, man. Whether it's FPV or, I mean, if it's a up and coming hover master, a drone is a drone at the end of the day. I mean, there's actually surprisingly, I had a phone call from a friend's dad. He actually phoned me a couple of months back, and he asked me about a whole fishing setup for a drone and everything. And I mean, that's what people kind of think of us in general. I mean, if you're flying a drone and you tell a guy that you know the components, you build it, you soldered it together, they kind of think you know almost anything and everything behind the wheel, if I could say. So yeah, I mean, but that's pretty cool, man. And have you guys got a Instagram page? Is there anybody know?
Yeah, we've got our Facebook page, Gcodefpv, just at Gcodefpv.
Have you got any pilots that are currently flying? with the frame?
Ruthless FPV, Leon Hasbrook. He's been
Okay.
on our first prototype, well, our latest carbon prototype for the last couple of months.
Okay.
He has beaten the shit out of that frame. And it's,
Yeah, actually, I know him. I know him personally, and he's
held up
actually
to a
quite
lot.
he's quite a good freestyle pilot. So
Yeah, no, he loves it, dude. So I think the most important thing is dudes having fun with the frame.
yeah, and I mean,
For sure.
Enjoying it. That's kind of what it's about.
Yeah.
And I'm not like the most prolific pilot, whatever. I mean, I know how to fly. I can hold my shit. But I don't know, dude. There's something about flying the frame, and only once you've flown it, you can sort of understand. The frame's it's so predictable. That's the one thing I can almost say. Like, it gives you confidence straight away. So I think
Okay,
that's important for people too. Also, people getting into it. And I think you asked me about, is it a beginner frame or?
Yeah.
It's hard to tell at this stage. We need a variety of pilots to build it and to give us their sort of opinion. But I would say it is probably a more advanced setup. That's in my opinion. I mean, I can put it in like an hour, but it's I think for a beginner, it's you just got to know where to put your components, and I think wiring is quite key as well.
So sorry, Lyle. So your frame is it more like revolving around 4-in-1 ESC, or basically were you designing it for?
We've designed it across the board, so even to a KISS setup, so we can run the KISS or the steel PDB, that kind of stuff. Because there are KISS pilots, and if your frame doesn't support KISS, you're going to lose out a whole bunch of dudes.
Yeah.
There's a KISS mod coming out that we'll get out soon, just after we've released we've got a pre-release version that's coming out next week. Select few pilots that have sort of bought into the idea of bought themselves frames. They're going to put it together, and we're going to put it through a bit of pressure testing before we get onto the production version.
Lyle, you were saying?
No, that's what I was actually going to ask. Is did you say that your frame was still in beta testing? Eh?
Yeah, the current. I mean, I do a lot of 3D printing. It's part of my business. So yeah, we printed about 8 prototypes just in PLA or ABS.
Okay.
Just to see how the thing fits together before we go do anything in carbon. The latest carbon prototype, we've had that out for a couple of months now, and it's been amazing, dude. It's such a cool journey, like watching how our product develops and stuff. It's people's feedback, and you got to try and not take it on the chin sometimes, you know.
Sure.
This doesn't work.
Yeah.
You got to try and make a solution. You're not building the frame for yourself or designing for yourself.
Definitely.
Design it for everyone, you know.
Yeah. And then I want to actually ask a question quickly. So I've seen a lot of frames now that mount 2 stacks. They mount the flight controller in the back and the ESC in the middle, and then they slam the deck really low.
Yeah.
Is that something you've looked into?
Ours is pretty much, I wouldn't say it's that format, but in terms of architecture and where your components sit, we're following a very similar sort of vein. Have you guys seen pics of the frame? It's hard to explain, obviously, but we didn't do a sort of bus style quad with the two decks on top of each other. So the guys are sort of running a hybrid now. It's a slammed back sections like a bus style, and then they've got 2 side plates in the front for the camera. So it's kind of like a hybrid. Ours is a bit of a hybrid as well, but we're using complete side plates. There's no top and bottom plates. Our standoffs actually go horizontally, not vertically.
Okay.
So yeah, and by doing that, we could really squish the profile of the frame right down. I think the profile, if you looked at it from the side, is about 21 millimeters. So it's pretty thin.
Sure.
That is pretty thin.
So when you say it's basically the same architecture as what Jadon explained, by pushing it down to 20 mil, have you then basically got 2 30x30 mounting?
That's it. Well, you've got a single 30x30 running either a 4-in-1 ESC or a PDB below the FC.
Okay.
So you've got a 2-high stack in the middle, and your VTX is actually sitting in a rear sort of pod. It's a 3D printed pod. So the whole idea behind the frame is everything's modular. You can replace the sort of camera cage in the front. You just pull it out. The VTX pod at the back, you pull it out. Then there's a radio pod at the bottom. It's got your receiver. It's got your Model T, and it basically just bolts on. So everything's sort of in a modular sort of format. That was the best sort of way to handle the components. Just put them in their own little separate sort of, what do you want to call it? Like separate little cages, so they're protected. But yeah, it's a tight build. Don't get me wrong. The current carbon prototype, we actually had to Dremel the frame, which was just too tight. But with all that dremeling and stuff, we now know what the sort of optimal sizes. Get your components in.
So when you mean by dremeling it, were you using normal standoffs, or were you kind of doing a M3 screw through the 30x30 with some O-rings or something in that line? Or
basically the 3D prints, if you can imagine, it's 3D prints in the front and 3D prints in the back with standoffs going horizontally through them. We've got the two side plates. So what I had done is printed the prints a little bit too thin, so the frame was quite narrow. So all we did was update the prints, and we could actually push the frame out, widen the frame a bit.
I actually just snapped what you said about your mountings going horizontally.
It's actually a funny story. So it being too narrow, it actually became something that we can say, okay, why can't you adjust it? So it's adjustable. You can adjust how wide your frame is depending on what you got. And all that does is just narrow your center of gravity. Because that's based. I looked at CG. I'm from an RC background.
It's good that you look at center of gravity, though.
No, dude, it's a huge thing.
I think everybody takes it into consideration, but I mean, sorry, just to interrupt you, but speaking from a freestyle point of view, I mean, the guys, how we put our batteries, I mean, you pick up your drone and then you can see pretty much where the balancing point of the quad is. Exactly. I mean, to have a frame that's pretty much all round that you can just slap a battery on and a GoPro and go for it, but you don't have to stress about the balancing.
No,
and that's the next step for me, practically.
It's quite funny. I've designed a quad balancer. Maybe I shouldn't tell you guys that. Maybe we should start.
Well, that's your call. I mean, you can keep it to yourself if you want to keep it exclusive. But
it's basically like a balancing station for your quad. You can put it on the station, and you can sort of see how it's out of balance, add weights and stuff, so you can get it perfectly in balance. And that's on pitch and obviously the roll axes. So yeah, you can sort of adjust.
Very interesting.
It's quite a simple fucking device. So once I've got it sort of prototyped, I'll show it to you guys. It's freaking cool. I think it could be quite fun. I don't sleep there. I eat.
That's a tinkerer for you, bro.
Dude, my brain is super busy. So,
You're nocturnal. Go to sleep at 4 a.m, get up at 8.
I didn't carry on. And 3D prints, 3D print your life away, sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'm going to watch this print for 5 minutes. 2 hours later, I'm going to watch this print for 5 more minutes.
That's the hashtag 3D printing laugh.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not sure what else to really say about the frame. I mean, you guys would just need to check out some pics of it, some overalls. I think Ruthless or Leon's just put up a sort of a build video, how the current sort of carbon prototype goes together.
Okay.
Quite a long video, it's about 20 minutes, but it's quite funny to watch him go through it,
I wanted to touch on that, and I think that is actually quite a neat idea to have a video basically out there and have something, even though, like you said, it's a little bit of a more intermediate quad. To have a video out there showing a beginner how to put this thing together.
Yeah, 100%. I think that anyone could really do it. The key is the top pod that I was talking about with the 3D prints and the side plates is actually removable. So you've got your camera, all your camera gear is in that top pod, your camera in the front and your VTX in the back. And the wiring of that to make it removable, I think you kind of need to know sort of what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, I worked it out, obviously, just using some JT Connect.
One last question on your frame, then I think we can move to the next topics, is the mounting of basically a session into your frame. What is the minimum angle that your session will be setting on that?
We had quite a debate about this between pilots, and I posted some stuff in the FPV groups as well. And 30 degrees seemed to be sort of the I don't know, sort of like the unanimous decision that was what the frame comes as standard. Doesn't mean the frame can't take any other GoPro angles, but as standard, you can actually just strap a GoPro to it. So you don't need to buy a GoPro mount as long as it's 30 degrees. There's space for a strap
that's cool.
and a soft mount. So,
that is actually.
But if you want
actually pretty good.
Crazy angles or low angles, just buy the 3D printed.
Is it only 4 sessions, or can you put the Euros?
No, we've got the Euro 7 adapter as well with all that stuff. I don't know if you could strap a Euro 7 to the straight frame. You might need to just get the mount. The mount's pretty easy. And the mount is sort of part of the frame. It straps over the horizontal standoffs.
And I mean,
the frame's tough.
I mean,
Can
30
believe it.
degrees is kind of your go-to because you're sitting actually with extremely wide angle on your GoPro. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's actually a perfect balance.
Yeah, I pulled it on, I think it was that FPV Racing International. And sure, got an amazing response. And 30 degrees was definitely the most popular.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've
I don't know.
liked 30 degrees for freestyle, so that to
likewise.
me also makes sense. I love that angle.
Yeah, it was one of the changes we had to make to the current sort of pre-production versions. We had to change that angle to 30. And that changed so much in the frame's architecture, dudes. It was like
it actually does.
100 hours to go and fix all that shit. So it's crazy.
Very interesting. Okay.
It's all good. If I can just chuck one last thing in, is this has also got a basic sort of VR experience behind it as well. My business is in virtual reality, so I've created a VR experience where you can build this thing in virtual reality. So it's kind of cool. And then there's also a desktop app. It runs an Unreal Engine. And just download it, and you can sort of configure your frame how you want it to look, change the prop colors, the 3D print colors, that kind of stuff. So
That's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
So you can sort of design it yourself, bro. And hopefully we can put that into an e-commerce system so you can order it like as you see.
That's actually a very neat system. So you can actually test fit
eventually.
your components before actually getting to the build and seeing, okay, this doesn't work. You can actually virtually do it before you actually go and spend money.
Yeah, pretty much, dude. So you can sort of design it for yourself, you know. That's kind of where our partnership with
Technology,
Flywheel is now. So yeah, we've got the Flywheel sort of guys behind us. They're supplying all the shit for the sort of testing we're doing now, which is awesome. They've got a nice little range of products. And yeah, I dig their motors. They're so bling. It's awesome.
Gold!
Yeah.
Damn, dude. That's crazy, man.
So yeah, man, it's that's pretty much it, dudes. So we've got a YouTube channel, Gcodefpv. Check that out. I've got a little vlog running as often as I can try and just post up updates. What's happening for it. Problem is, it happens so fast. Like by the time you've recorded it, it's fucking out of date.
And also, if you've got a busy schedule, you don't. It's fully understandable.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I think we all know that.
But I think this has been a sort of joint effort to get this frame design and stuff. It's not only my project. A lot of dudes have put in efforts and time to get it sort of where it is now.
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask you, your team. How many guys, if you don't mind me asking? Is
Sure. We've got a group called the FS. I think there's 6 of us in there now. Ryan, I think you flew with Dylan last weekend at the Bando.
Yeah.
He's just come on board with us. He's got an amazing clothing line thing going at the moment. So he sort of joined the fray on that. We've got an engineer, Gareth Bodley. He races quads, does a bit of freestyle. And they're not really guys you would know. They're just buddies in the FPV community.
They're just those guys in the background.
Yeah, Hazy FPV, Heath. He also catch him with racing. You're one of my good mates. We raced the RC Nitro together. We raced that for years. That's sort of our background. There's about 6 or 7 of us, and obviously Leon. He's been quite instrumental in giving a lot of feedback.
I remember giving parts to Leon at one point. Yeah. No, okay, that's interesting, man. Interesting. So that's Gcode. Gcodefpv on YouTube. You've got an Instagram page as well.
Dude, I think it's Gcodefpv. I don't have time to post Instagram. I'm married with kids, dude. Not like these young folks, dude.
Yeah, no, I can understand that.
Yeah.
Just if you do have, you can shout out on there. You know what I mean?
Dude. It's just Gcodefpv on Facebook and Gcodefpv on YouTube. Not much else to it.
Well, just to add to that, I'll do your marketing for a small fee of $8,000 a month. Very
frames.
No, okay.
Yeah, very affordable, for your average South African.
Dude, what we could do? I like to do things. Maybe do a giveaway or some shit like that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think that'll be quite cool. To do a giveaway or something like that.
Our first batch are unfortunately all booked, all taken. But I'm definitely going to bring in a second batch. There's some minor changes I've seen already since it's gone to production in the next carbon prototype that I want to make. So it's like,
and I think that'll come
in on the production.
And I think you learn as you get your frames and test, and the more you fly, the better it gets, and you can only go forward from there. I mean,
it's also
only
important
improve the
not
car,
to do too much, because sometimes I've over-designed a couple of these elements and I've put them aside. It's almost worked backwards. And design's not about what you add; it's actually about what you take away. So it's been a cool process.
Simple is more.
One time.
So you spoke about I don't know, I can't remember, probably it was last week, that you'd actually really like, and we touched on this with a previous podcast, to actually try and have more freestyle competition, freestyle events. I wouldn't say it's a competition really, but I think that is something that we should bring up again in this pod.
100%.
and pushing the freestyle.
Yeah, especially in the freestyle. I mean, the community is really lacking to try and give us a platform to try and do a freestyle event, and
totally.
There's nothing holding anyone back actually from doing it.
Yeah, it's just I think you got to jump over jump through a few hoops with SAMA and all that kind of stuff, because you got to get that sort of covered.
That's our only holding back factor at this point.
But
I don't know what the true reason. Well, I don't know. I haven't done my research in terms of why we don't have more freestyle events here. But I'm sure there is a reason why the guys. I mean, I've spoken to Paul from Goblin Hobbies about freestyle, and I mean that's where it is. It's you finding the guys in the parks busy doing power loops over trees and doing gaps and things like that. I mean, the guys that are racing are going to clubs. I mean, because of the noise factor. I don't know. There's a lot to consider, but I do agree with you, Ryan. We do need to try and push more on just like having a bit of a freestyle event. I think it will also boost the community a bit.
Maybe push the level of the freestyle sort of event at the racing events like nationals and stuff. Just try and make it a bit, make it quite a thing. If you know what I mean. Like supporting each other is probably the best way.
Yeah, but if you listen to our previous podcast, we actually spoke about that. It's very difficult having a freestyle event mixed in with a racing event. They're actually going to have to be hosted on 2 separate days.
Okay.
It's just lengthy. The racing takes a whole day, and there's not a huge number of races, but that already shows you that it already takes a whole day. I mean, at nationals we used to finish at 6. We used to finish when the sun was basically going down. Just see through your camera.
Like when the sun was gone. And it's like, I'm crashing, it's too dark. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I think to be honest, a third party should take the lead in the whole freestyle thing.
Yeah, damn straight. I mean, we want to try to just with our Gcode pilots and just have a day where we can go fly somewhere. A whole bunch of freestyle pilots. Obviously, get permission to let you fly to fly, but it's not really a competition per se.
What's that thing that flight test or Rotor Ride has? Quad camp.
Yeah, and Rampage.
We should do something like quad camp, like a South African quad camp where we get a place.
That could be sick,
and literally, I mean, we do it in South Africa so that it's people can come. I mean, if you buy a ticket, but you see, that's the thing. Our community is not big enough for people to physically buy a ticket and come. I mean,
if you could bring out a couple of the guys, I know Umagard, I know Tommy quite well.
That's the thing. That's what I'm willing to also.
And just
check it out.
Guys Oaks don't really come here for free. They want.
That's also true. That I mean, no one's gonna. I mean, yes, it's all fair and well that we jump on Instagram and we, send them an Instagram post. Hey, come to South Africa. But I mean, the guys, as much as they'd love to come, then they're not going to come just for the sake of coming. I mean, they want to come here for a reason. They want to, they want to come here leaving knowing that they've left a footprint, or if that their content's been boosted or something's, they want something out of it. It's not necessarily just coming and having fun and okay, cool, let's have a weekend of just flying. It's coming, flying, getting connected, boosting each other and, you know, moving forward from there.
Yeah.
So
When Tommy was still with Rotor Rights, he was able to organize all the pilots to come to South Africa. But you would need a sponsor, someone who's a prop sponsor, a hobby shop. Unfortunately, we don't have sponsors big enough to to sort of, fund
no,
a
but, I mean,
Rotor
that's
Rights tour, you know?
like, I mean, just, let's be honest, tickets are damn expensive, man.
We are quite far.
I mean,
away.
if you're buying a ticket that's in the UK, I mean, in the States, maybe, I mean, what you're looking at, like $700 a ticket. But yeah, you're looking at like 30 to 40 grand. Or, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just throwing numbers.
You'd probably look at 140,000 rand just flying them down, just tickets
there and back.
Yeah.
I saw Johnny FPV was here, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. But he came for a reason. I mean, he was sponsored.
Yeah, exactly. You need a really good reason to come here. So
He freaking flew in the Kruger National Park, which was super sick. So
I don't think it was the Kruger, was it? Wasn't it some park somewhere in the Eastern Cape?
Oh yeah. Sorry, not the Kruger. It was somewhere. So, I don't know. But all I know is it was.
Yeah,
there was a lot of controversy around that video.
Yeah.
Too much. But it's fun.
I remember, because last year, end of last year, after China, I was planning to fly to multi-IO here in the States. So I think IO is happening within the next month or something. And when we first looked at tickets, it was 20,000 rand per ticket return. Then we looked at tickets a month later, and then they were suddenly 28,000 rand return, and I think they're something like 39 now.
Yeah, no, so it only goes up. It does not come down unless you get a special.
Yeah. It's way cheaper to fly to places like China than...
So, Lyle.
What's up? What's happening? I think...
Sorry.
I thought you were going to ask me a question there, bro. I'm like, yeah, what's up? Hey, have you guys checked the Liftoff released the new map?
I've heard,
the Panda.
and I saw the whole app itself looks a little bit different, and the intro sequences and stuff, but I haven't flown the map.
Yeah, well, actually, I haven't played Liftoff in a while. Till I saw the Banda map got released. So yeah, I've been jamming the Banda map for a bit, and it's pretty cool. It's got some nice building dials and a nice gap in some of the buildings, like a little drop chute. Very not the easiest thing to drop into, but it's actually quite fun. I think it got released yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. That'll be a week ago from today.
That's rad. I actually downloaded that tonight. So
I think it's like 700 megs, if I'm not mistaken, the update, or just under.
It was 1.1 gigs for my dad's computer, but he hasn't updated in quite a while, so could be another update as well.
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty cool. I know Velocity Drone has got that building map, but yeah, it's actually pretty cool. It's a really cool map. It's got a crane, it's got a few other things, and yeah, it's pretty cool. All in all,
cool.
It hasn't got any race tracks on it, from what I saw. But yeah,
just waiting for someone to make one, I guess.
Yeah,
there will always be someone making one, going to the drawing board.
Jadon, how do you think, or how well do you think the Liftoff map works? Say, for instance, when you got an event coming up and they make a copy of that track, do you think it's beneficial?
I do think it's beneficial, but there's one thing I've noticed is if you design the track to the exact measurements that it's designed in real life, it does not feel the same. If you build a track on that 15 by 15 meter grid and you build it to the measurement on Liftoff, you'll fly it, you'll be like, this track feels terrible. You'll set it up in real life, you'll be like, this is the flowiest track I've ever flown in my life. So generally when I make a track for Liftoff, or make a track of an event in Liftoff, I'll look at it on paper, because I've designed quite a few tracks and I've seen what track designs look like before they've actually been set up. So you kind of get an idea from what the design is like. Okay, it's going to fly this way. Then I'll go into liftoff and I'll kind of eyeball how it should look. Like put bigger gates than what liftoff says they should be, but gates which actually feel realistic. And then the track ends up feeling a lot closer to real life than it does normally. But once the map is actually built to like the right scale, it definitely helps you to practice it, because you don't really, I mean, it doesn't really help you much in terms of practicing what your actual quad fly is like, but you get to know it's a left turn, then it's a right turn, then it's a split test, then it's a corkscrew, then it's a this.
Giving you some muscle memory once you actually hit.
Exactly.
Oh no, fantastic.
So, dude,
Nah.
guys, I'm in a bail there. I'm old. So
Okay, no, that's all good, dude. That's
I'm
all
going
good.
to play golf this weekend if you can fucking do that. I don't know how to play golf. But
Well, that's a bally
You know what
sport,
I
eh?
actually want to do?
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
while
yeah.
recording, like some camera manufacturer out there, please make this. I want to see an action camera built into a golf ball.
100%.
Like something that's got a
Snap it
lens that you can smack with a golf club and just see yourself go like boom.
It's going to have a super
Smaller and
strong
smaller
gyro
and
to
smaller.
keep that,
I was just about to
punch
say, just thinking about the gyro in that thing, or the gimbal, to keep that camera straight, because that ball is going to be spinning in every direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But dude, shots, so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no,
Thanks, man. And
Everything
yeah,
goes
dude, I
a long
mean,
way.
it's every Thursday. Keep your ears peeled.
Awesome. I think it's great. I think you guys must keep it up.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Thanks for coming along.
Oh,
Sweet,
thanks for
guys.
coming, man.
Peace. Catch you later.
Peace, dude.
Have a
Cheers,
good one, man. Cheers.
Cheers.